question for you. Is Bklyn in the house?
Yeah! Yes, without a doubt.
We're grateful to be here today to celebrate my fellow Brooklynites, my dear friend, the history-making first African-American House Democratic leader, Hakeem Jeffries. Now, the fact that so many people have filled this beautiful auditorium on a cold, sunny January afternoon is a testament to the depth of relationships that Hakeem has built over his career. In public service, and the quality of his character, and the fact that he is beloved in the 8th Congressional District of New York. And I recognize that anyone here today who made phone calls, knocked on doors, and did all the work to get out and vote for Hakeem. You are democracy in action. Today is Hakeem's day, but it's your day too. I'll take a little modest advantage here. I was on the ballot in November. I'm honored the voters of New York elected to give me another term in office. As of earlier this month, I am the first ever U.S. Senator to represent New York for 5 terms. Now, in the Senate and the House, Hakeem and I just finished the most productive legislative session in decades that benefited all Americans. But Hakeem, and I see Yvette and Lydia here as well, we made sure as a bicameral team from New York to make sure that New York did well. And I'm proud to say that because of the work we have done together, this is the Senator Moynihan used to decry the fact that New York was a donor state. And more money, we sent more money to Washington than we got back from New York. These are the first 2 years that New York got more money back than we sent. It's good to have a Senate Majority Leader from New York and a House Minority Leader from New York. And it's going to be even better in 2 years when Bklyn has not only the Senate Majority Leader, but the Speaker of the House. Let me count the reasons today is a great day. It's a great day for me. Reasons I'm going to touch on 4. First, it's a great day for the House.
We'll be elected.
Now, Hakeem, as you all know, was born not far from here in Brooklyn Hospital. He had a silver spoon in his mouth. He was raised in Crown Heights. During a bottle when the neighborhood faced so many changes. His parents came from modest middle-class beginnings, but his home was filled with love and support. Hakeem's parents, Lenita and Marland, who taught Hakeem at an early age the value of giving back to the community. Hakeem went to New York City's public schools. He went to Midwood High School. I'm from Madison. I went to Madison. Midwood's rival. They always beat us in basketball. Always. And that's because of our team. I was on the team. You know what the team's motto was in Madison? We may be small, but we're slow. Now, then Hakeem, despite his humble beginnings, he went on to graduate with honors from one of the great state schools in the country, SUNY Binghamton. Got a master's degree from the prestigious Georgetown University, and then a law degree from NYU, where he graduated magna cum laude. After a stint in the legal world, clerking for a judge in the Southern District of New York and working at a prestigious white shoe law firm, Hakeem, the urge instilled in him to give back to the community that Lenita and Marlon installed in him as a child, pulled him into public service. And after a short while, he ran for the assembly. Now, let me tell you a story. When we had a little dinner group that met Tuesday nights when I was in the House, in the Congress, and one of the people there was George Miller from California. And we were adding a new person to our dinner group. And George said to me, "You're going to meet the new person joining our dinner group. Her name is Nancy Pelosi. Before I ever met her, she's going to become the first woman speaker of the House." It was amazing. And when you met Nancy, you got to know that. Well, when I first met Hakeem, I had very, very similar feelings. I couldn't envision exactly where his career would go, but I knew that he was destined for greatness. And I'm sure many of you experienced that. Just a short time sitting down with Hakeem, you said to yourself, this guy is really special. He ran for the assembly and won, ran for Congress and won, and now, just 10 years later, he is now becoming the first African American to lead any party in the Congress. It is a great day for Hakeem Jeffries. It's also a great day for his family. All of us in public life know how our families have to put up with so much. So to his wife, where are they? They're from the front. There you are, Cassandra. His mom and dad, Lenita and Marlon, who instilled such values in him. So, all right, can I ask them to stand up and we applaud you? Also here is Uncle Dr. Leonard Jeffries, his aunt, Dr. Bklyn Jeffries. So our families are really part of us and teach us the values that we have. And we all know what they have to put up with those of us in public life. I like to tell the story. When my daughter had her 5th birthday party, it was a cold March night, and a pastor of a local church called me up and he said, "Congressman," I was then Congressman, "you got to get over here. I have 300 senior citizens lined up outside the church ready to go in and hear our Easter pageant. But the Con Ed man has come, he's locked the door, he said, we didn't pay the bills." We did, we have the bills here, get over here. I left my daughter's 5th birthday party, went to the church, argued with the Con Ed man. He let the people in, the 300 seniors saw the Easter pageant, but I missed my daughter's 5th birthday party. She is now 32 and reminds me of it. Our families also have our backs all the time. So a few years back, I was talking to a gentleman, and I sort of vaguely recognized him, but I didn't know who he was. And my wife is suit jacket. I said, "What are you doing, dear? I'm talking to the man." She said, "Don't you remember him? He insulted you 15 years ago." It's a great day for the Jeffries family. Congratulations to you. Great day for the residents of this great 8th Congressional District in Brooklyn, New York. Hakeem knows this district. He was literally born in it. It's one of the most diverse districts, not only in New York, but in America. It stretches from some of the wealthiest blocks in New York City to some of the poorest, from Boren Hill and Fort Greene to East New York and Starrett City to Brighton Beach and Seagate. So many different communities, each with people aspiring, many struggling to get into the middle class and want a little help there. Many in the middle class and hope they can stay there. Look, you couldn't have a better representative than Hakeem. Because I've never met someone, he gets along with everybody, he empathizes and understands. I know one of his characteristics, he puts himself in your shoes, the person he's talking to, and tries to understand them and how he can help them. So it's wonderful to have a guy like Hakeem represent such a diverse district. He also is so good to represent this district because he's always been fighting injustice. Of course at the national level, but at the local level too. Recently, Hakeem and I worked to bring federal money to the Broadway Junction subway stop.
Yes.
But you got to climb up a lot of stairs
Dangerous.
to get there.
Dangerous. Dangerous.
But because of Hakeem's work, and I worked with him on this, there is now going to be ADA upgrades and elevators.
Yes.
So, it's a great day for this 8th congressional district because Hakeem is he's a great national leader, but he also fits the needs of this district. You know, we were able, Yvette, Lydia, Hakeem, and I were able to get a lot of money to New York, as I mentioned, in the last 3 years. But you can be sure, you and all of you who live in this wonderful 8th district, that no one will be better at making sure. You know, the first step is to allocate and legislate for the money, but the next step is to make sure it goes to the right people quickly. There's no one who will be better at doing that than Hakeem Jeffries. Last but not least, folks, it's a great day for the United States.
Yeah. That's right.
You know, every cold November, the citizens of this district and throughout the country line up at the polling places in quiet dignity, standing on line. You want to go home, maybe put food on the table for the kids, maybe sit in your favorite chair and watch your favorite TV show, but no, we wait in quiet dignity. Vote. And until the last few years, Americans always abided by that decision. Now we have a group of people in Washington who aren't going by that great American credo. But I can tell you, with people like Hakeem in office, and the people on this stage, and people, elected officials, we're going to fight that tooth and nail. And that's anyway, I have faith that we will prevail. We will prevail. And I'll conclude by telling a little story I like to tell about Thomas Jefferson, which talks about this republic. The founding fathers had just finished writing the Constitution, and Jefferson was at a coffee house. They didn't have Starbucks in those days. He was at a coffee house in Philadelphia, and one of the leading matrons of Philadelphia came over to him and said to him, Dr. Franklin, what have you gentlemen created in there, in that building, pointing to Constitution Hall? He rifled back at her, Madam, we have created a republic, if you can keep it. Now, what do you mean by that? What were the founding fathers most worried about when they created this democracy? There were lots of problems with the democracy. In fact, back then, you had to be a white, male, Protestant property owner to vote. Who could have voted in this audience? Come on, there must be a few. There's one.
Two.
You know, she doesn't look like a white male property owner.
3/5 of a person.
She would have made her way to vote anyway. Good for you. But in any case, there were lots of problems with the Republic.
Yeah.
But here are the two the founding fathers, the historians tell us, were most worried about. First, they were worried about whether people would participate in this whole thing, this whole newfangled thing they had created, a democracy. They knew human nature. They knew that we were all busy. We were busy with our families, with our jobs, with the ups and downs of life, the vicissitudes of life that God visits on every one of us. Would people even bother to participate? And second, they worried about who would put themselves forward for public office. They worried that the people who would put themselves forward would do it for money, for power, for ego, and not really represent the community that they were supposed to have voted for them. In those days, they called them scoundrels. We still call them that today. Now look at this beautiful Bklyn Tech auditorium. By the way, we used to beat Bklyn Tech in high school. We didn't beat liberals, we beat Bklyn Tech. Anyway. Never heard the engineers.
Facts.
Okay. It's a great Bklyn day, isn't it? Anyway, to finish the story, they called them in those days scoundrels. So look who's in this auditorium tonight. It's filled. It's a cold January night. There's not an empty seat. With people who participate in our democracy, in our community organizations, in our churches and houses of worship, and so many different aspects of life. So many aspects of life. I know so many of you here. Oh
Oh yes, the people are participating. And who have we put in office? Certainly not a scoundrel. Not even someone who you'd say is just comme ci, comme ça. We have put in office one of our very, very best.
Yes.
And so folks, everybody frankly down on this auditorium and smile. This is the democracy they want, and we will keep it if we fight for it, and fight we will. God bless Hakeem.